Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is Rita Young with Participant Directed Advocates of Georgia, joined by Mitzi Profit. And we're going to talk a little bit today about troubleshooting and what to do if you get stuck. And boy, there is nothing worse than feeling that you are stuck, especially when you're starting the process, or maybe you're trying to hire staff. Maybe you've been long time self-direct person, in whatever case, it can be really frustrating and you can feel a little bit lost. Would you say that's true, Mitzi?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about some things that may help you. And both of us have been self-directing for many, many years. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I get where things are slowing down, or they may not go perfectly, right? And so I've got to, reel things back and look to see, first, let's just take one hypothetical situation. You're trying to hire staff and you've turned in that application and maybe you're not hearing back. Okay. So we might recommend to follow the chain of command within that particular fiscal agency, whoever you're using, right? But even before then, I know this has happened to me where I look at the application and maybe there's a blank in a place where I needed to put something.
Right.
And I know they're getting a lot better with that with the I-9, but say you left off a participant name, or maybe you put the employer as the participant or the employee as the participant, and it messes things up a little bit, and everything can be fixed. Everything is fixable, right?
Exactly.
But those kinds of human errors, clerical errors, can delay things a little bit.
Yeah, because we think it goes back to them and they're going to jump on it, but it goes back into the queue, as I remember, and you don't jump back to the top because there's processes for Acumen because they have more than us. So we feel, and we always want to be number one, but we have to remember they have other employers as well as us. So I think sometimes the frustration could be on our part as parents, because sometimes we have made the mistake of making very simple errors. I know myself, when I haven't hired somebody in a while, the forms might have changed. They are a lot better. They're so much better. And just going back to the Acumen site to refresh that I've got the most current packet, or I haven't duplicated, and I always go back to the examples and sometimes just put them side by side. Or look at another one that I've done to make sure I've done everything, because we get in a hurry, or the employee that I want to hire might be here and I want them fast. So that's just me. But yeah.
True. So you're saying, and I've done this in the past, there's a sample that on the Acumen side that they provide of some of the documentation. So take a look at the sample and then look at previous approved applications.
Yeah.
You did the
just duplicate the good ones.
Right. Because there's a part on the I-9 that it took me forever to get, and it was, putting in your name as a business or something, domestic employer. And I always would somehow mess that up, but I finally figured it out. So but you're right. We are in a hurry. We want to get things done. And as families, we are either putting out fires, and we're also incredibly results oriented.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that.
So I typically correspond by email, and I know that some folks call when there's an issue. I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily a right way to do it, whatever your preference is.
Yeah, I hardly ever call. I know I'm a creature of wanting to keep the documentation, because if there has been issues, I know I've sent that email on a certain day and they're going to ask me when, or did I attach it? And I'm the worst I'm like, oh no, I forgot to attach the attachment. And sometimes emails are good about did you attach, but not always when you're good at using old email servers. But so I do it through email, and then there's so many different newer enrollment email. But I know I've changed when staff has changed, and we have a different, I don't know always the right wording. It might not be case manager, but whoever handles, example, my area, that person, if there's something that needs to be changed, Or, and I've been very impatient before, like, I need this stuff to be on now. And it's like at the 8th day, well, if we don't know if they're super busy or there's a lull sometimes and they get in like super fast and you think, oh, the next one's going to go fast. It doesn't always happen that way. So yeah, like you said, we're wanting them on fast, but doesn't always happen that way. Just that communication to me is always easier through email. I'm not a phone caller, so
Yeah, I would agree that that's my style too. And also the fingerprinting
yes.
it's not really an issue at all anymore,
It's
right?
like it's just flowing. Yes, like it did before. Yes, yes.
Exactly. And the two new folks that I have added recently, I mean, I didn't even have to do really anything. I gave them the instructions, they followed them, they got the fingerprinting done. It's all good to go. So, kudos to the state for making the new vendor so
Process.
much easier,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
yes.
so much easier. Yeah, absolutely.
And
Um,
again, I keep my forms. And again, that's one of the things that they're probably told in the training. You've got to keep your documentation for years. Don't keep it together. Even when you've had mistakes, I still keep the mistakes with the employee papers because, again, you never know when somebody might ask you for that. So it's not always fun to keep the files, but just as being a professional employer of record, just keep them in a file.
so you're saying keep an HR folder of some sort.
Yes,
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 keep
yeah,
the applications for
yes.
quick reference. And then if you have old ones in there, I don't know what the recommended, I'm sure the recommended is to dispose of them, if
After
they're
so many years, yeah,
after so many years. Yeah.
yeah.
So not so much. So we have a conference coming up. We
Yep.
want you to come to the conference. We hope you come to the conference. And if you want information on it, you can look on the PDAG website, pda-ga.org, and we have a dedicated page for the conference. We hope to see you there, either in person, and you can also participate virtually. And before we end, I don't want to dig really deep into this, but there's so many concerns about what's happening at the federal level. And when we know more, we will, of course, inform everyone. We're certainly not alarmists, but we are realists, and it's just going to take some time for the information to trickle down to us. And so that's another great reason to stay connected with PDAG because we're going to be following that as well. So you all take good care. We hope to see you in August in Atlanta at the Carter Center. We're going to be talking about housing, best practice and self-direct, a self-determination panel, and also how to prepare for the future. So a lot of great information, a lot of great networking, all in one place. So
Yep.
thanks you all so much, and we'll see you again soon.